Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear listeners. I'm so excited that you are here for the episode number 3 of Guidance for the Heart series. So, again, I'm your friend, uncle, brother Bilal, and today I want to quickly explore some of the very interesting topics to understand Islam a bit better. Again, that is primarily for my own understanding, and I'm just walking you through this journey with me so that we can all benefit at the same time. So, buckle up. I'm thinking to explore some of the interesting questions today, such as I'm sure you might have wondered, like, why do we call God as Allah, right? So I'll try to explore that one. A question that our little ones are a bit curious about sometimes. Why do Muslims pray 5 times a day? um, what does Islam say about science, right? Is there any compatibility between Islam and science? And also, I want to look at some of the prophets and messengers that are mentioned in Quran. So we'll be covering those topics in this episode today. All right. So first up, let's talk about why Muslims call God as Allah. So the word Allah is simply the Arabic term for God. Just like, let's say, an example of Spanish speakers who use the word Dios for God. So similarly, the Arabic speakers use the word or the name Allah. But again, here's the kicker: the Allah is a unique term that has no plural or gender associated with that. It emphasizes on oneness and uniqueness of God in Islam. It's a way to address the supreme power with the utmost respect and uh, and the belief that we have in our Creator. So let me rephrase this whole thing again for you. So we Muslims, we refer to God as Allah, which simply means the God in Arabic. It is the same God who is worshipped by Jews and Christians, for example. And Allah is the only term in Arabic that cannot be made as a plural, or it cannot be associated with a gender, right? It emphasizes on the uniqueness and oneness of God, because we believe there is only one God, right? So we believe that Allah is beyond any human's limitations, right? And it cannot be compared to anything that is created in this world, right? Because Allah is the creator. So, just for you to know, Allah, the word Allah or the name Allah is also used by the Arabic speaking Christians and Jews. And again, using this term emphasizes the belief in one supreme and eternal power and the creator that Allah is. So I hope that clarifies why do we call God as Allah, right? Because this word cannot be associated with any plural or gender, and it expresses the power and the oneness of God. That eventually is what we have to believe, right? Firmly, that there is only one God and there is nothing that can be compared to the Creator. Okay, now on to the next topic. Why do Muslims pray? Right? I'm referring to Salah or namaz or prayer. As I mentioned in the previous episode, Salah or prayer is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It's a way for Muslims to connect with Allah, right? And it is a way to connect with Allah, to seek guidance and show gratitude towards Allah, right? And again, we pray 5 times a day at specific times, such as, like, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. You can call it dawn, noon, mid afternoon, sunset, and the night, right? It's not just about the physical act that we do, but it's about maintaining a spiritual connection and finding the peace. It's like hitting the reset button for our soul throughout the day, right? So, again, I know I keep asking myself, keep reminding myself to pray regularly. I keep asking my kids as a reminder that they have to make this part of their life. We have to thank Allah. We have to thank Allah. Once we start reading Quran, inshallah, we will come to some references where Allah is asking uh, us to pray and to establish the prayer and remember him and thank him for whatever Allah has given us, basically everything, right? So let me just rephrase what I said about why do we need to pray. So again, Salah is a big part of being a Muslim, right? We pray 5 times, right? Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. It is a way for us to stay connected with Allah throughout the day. Imagine, let me give you an example. Imagine you're using a phone, right? Now, we all want to use phone who don't have a phone, but those who have a phone, you need to charge it to keep it going, right? So Salah is like our spiritual charging station. It gives us strength, peace, and focus. And again, it's happening 5 times a day. Imagine, it makes a lot of difference in our life if we are regularly praying 5 times a day. It does not take that long. So that I just keep telling myself so that I'm consistent and I'm regular with that. So prayer helps us to remember Allah and to be grateful and to find guidance from Allah. It's a chance to step away from the busy life, take a break and reflect, right? And imagine when I pray and when I talk to my kids to pray, I give an example. For example, let's say when you are standing in front of a king, you know how respectfully you stand in front of the king. You're looking down, you're very humble, giving your utmost respect to the king, right? Allah is the king of the world, is the king of the king of the king. He is the ultimate power. Imagine when you are praying Salah, you are standing in front of Allah. So have respect, slow down, and bring humbleness in yourself when you are praying. Imagine that Allah is in front of you. Allah is watching you, and you are praying to seek help and guidance and show how grateful you are for everything that Allah has given us. So imagine you are praying Salah in front of the King himself, and Allah is watching you. So that helps us bring focus and humbleness in our prayer. Again, when we do 5 times a day, keep your hopes alive. Ask Allah for everything. Right? The other day I was telling my kids, you never know. Allah might be waiting for you to make dua after namaz. It's not just you quickly pray namaz and step away and go back and play your games or watch TV. At least spend 1 or 2 minutes. Ask Allah in the prayer after the namaz. Make dua for anything. Okay, you can pray for Allah give me PS5. Allah give me a cell phone. Allah make me healthy, make me strong, make me a big house, give me a car, a fancy lifestyle, anything you want. Just ask Allah, right? That's the key. You have to ask. I have to ask. Maybe Allah is waiting that, I will only give them when they ask us. One of the questions that my son asked me the other day, but Father, not all the prayers are heard. Whenever we ask for dua, it's not fulfilled. Again, the answer is Allah knows better, right? You might get it after some time, or Allah probably keep reward for you instead of fulfilling that specific ask or dua that you have made, right? So Allah knows better. Our job or our duty is to ask Allah. Make dua, right? Make dua for your parents, right? For your grandparents, for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends, families, for everyone's well-being. Be nice in your thoughts, for others, and believe me, that niceness will come back to you as well in the same form. So always, the what I'm trying to say is, after you pray or after you perform your salah, spend 1 minute, 2 minutes, just try to make it a regular habit to make some dua, right? I would say be a selfish person in that dua. Just ask for yourself if you don't want to ask for anybody else, but at least ask. So make dua with the belief that Allah, you are the only one that I am thanking. You are the only one to grant us everything, and I can only ask you, and I'm asking you for what I need. So please fulfill this dua, or help me with something, with my health or with my studies or with anything, right? So again, the essence here is ask dua after prayer. Again, I just wanted to talk about the salah, but again, I just got dragged in the subject of dua. But anyway, the message is conveyed. So when you listen, please try to make it a habit to spend, at least 1 minute for making dua. All right, so in this episode, I also wanted to touch on a couple of topics such as the Islam and the compatibility of Islam with science. And I wanted to also talk about our prophets and messengers in Islam, right? But I think I will just cover the Islam's compatibility with science in this one. And in my next episode, I will be covering the topic about the messengers or prophets mentioned in Islam, and touch a little bit on the subject of dawah. So now, again, tackling the big question, is Islam compatible with science? Absolutely. Yes. In fact, the Quran encourages us to pursue the knowledge and scientific questions or inquiries that we have, right? There are numerous verses in Quran that aligns that align with the modern scientific discoveries. For example, the Quran mentions about the expansion of the universe, the development of human embryo, and even the water cycle, right? Islamic scholars, you might be aware, or will touch that as well later, that Islamic scholars have historically been the pioneers in various fields such as astronomy, the medicine, and the mathematics. So science and Islam, basically, they go hand in hand, right? So again, don't think that the religion of Islam is an outdated old religion. No, so many things were revealed in Quran 1400 years ago, right? More than 1400 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is that Islam encourages us to seek the knowledge and understanding of the world around us, right? Once we start reading the Quran, inshallah, we will be covering the scientific facts that are hinted in the Quran, many years ago, like over 1400 years ago, as I said, right? So yeah, as I said, things will be much clearer when we start reading the Quran and go to such references. Inshallah, when we go to those references, I'll try my best to refer back to this episode where I touched a little bit on this topic, right? So I think I did mention about the mathematics, the medicine, the astronomy. I think physics is the another area where our Muslim scientists had discoveries in the past. So again, yeah, so that was the big question I wanted to touch. Inshallah, we will go into the references. I have been doing some research, but again, I just don't want to bring those verses from Quran at this point. But once we start going through the Quran, juz by juz or para by para, ayat by ayat, inshallah, we will come back and discuss more on these topics, right? So that's all just I wanted to say about the Islam's compatibility with science.